while since I did the fan. Hey guys, it's Ghost Queen. How are you? I am just going to check and make sure I'm doing it right. I'm always afraid of this app. Just want to make sure I can hear myself. Just want to make sure I can hear myself. Okay, good. Okay. Hi, how are you? How is everybody tonight? I'm going to have a little chitty-chat about a couple things that are happening, a couple things I've seen and whatnot. First off, I did share about it. I don't know if any of you saw that H3H3 did this video kind of condemning Keemstar, and he kind of gives a history of some of the things that Keemstar has done and why he doesn't support him. Hi, John. Oh, thanks. That's very sweet. Welcome to the stream. So, I got a new water bottle today. It's one of those, I don't know, tall, I don't know how you pronounce it. But it's got a kind of like a cool sort of texture pattern that I like. I had almost the exact same one, but it was just like a matte black. And of course I lost it, fell off my damn bike. I lost my other one too. I had like 2 water bottles, lost them both. They were both like insulated because I like to drink a lot of ice water. Lost them both. So I got this new one today. I really like it. I like the texture. Anyway, so H3H3 did this video condemning Keemstar as being sort of like a bully, and even suggesting that perhaps he bullied 2 people to the point of suicide. I think 2 people. Definitely they were talking about 1. And that it seems to be kind of a pattern with him, that he doesn't handle people who have mental health issues well. And in fact, you know, sometimes he was going around saying, like, if you have this mental health issue, like if you're depressed, you know, dealing with like chronic depression or something, he would just tell you you were weak and you should snap the fuck out of it. You know, it's kind of like when someone has anxiety and you say, just don't worry anymore. Just stop doing that. You know, like, I won't say any names, but I have a friend who has trouble with driving. Anxiety takes over when they drive. And like, you know, her partner was kind of like, can you just not be that way anymore? Like, it's not that easy. You know, these are mental health issues. You can't just wish them away. Okay? Now, if even, all right, I get it, like with a lot of these YouTube drama wars, you know, creator wars, a lot of times people do tend to exaggerate and sometimes take things out of context, twist situations, whatever. But even if like just part of what H3H3 is saying, it's pretty shitty, you know. Keemstar has already made 1 video defending himself, which I did watch, and I don't know, you know, look, I know how certain creators can sort of like really tug at your heartstrings to get you to sway to their side. I get that. But like I say, it didn't seem like Keemstar was really denying any of the stuff that H3H3 had to say. And it's sort of one of those things where, you know, you've seen him kind of act like a dick enough yourself that even if you didn't know this past history, you're like, yeah, that was probably all true. So, you know, I don't know. I wasn't impressed, and I'm supporting H3H3 on this. I unsubbed Keemstar, and yeah, I just think that's not cool. Look, if somebody's fucking depressed, the last thing you should be doing is challenging them about their depression and suggesting that they're just being weak. They already think they're weak. So you might have pushed that person over the edge by confirming what their greatest fear is. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jesus, where is the compassion in the world? Where is the empathy? So all of this kind of got me thinking a little bit today. Like, have we turned into a society where it's kind of like cool to be cruel? You know, where like if you're like such a fucking hard ass, that somehow makes you cool and enviable. I don't like this shit, you know, and it's almost like people have put such an emphasis on how you shouldn't be a snowflake that it's gone to the other direction where like people are just being such hard asses that they just are becoming robotic. You know, they have no empathy or compassion for their fellow man. You know, they can't empathize with other people's problems or struggles or issues or feelings. It's scary stuff because the colder someone gets, the more they're going to fucking hurt other people. I'm telling you. Be careful there, you know? And it's almost like it's just become cool to be cruel. And I'm just pointing it out. It's just an observation. And then, thinking along the same lines, you know, and this does seem to be a big YouTube thing too. It's like the louder and the bigger, most bitch that you can be on YouTube, it's like, oh, you're a badass and that makes you cool. You know, if you can fucking scream at somebody. Hey, Lindy, how are you? Wow, you're venting late. Loving it. Yeah, I know. You know what? My schedule is really flipped around right now. I've been like staying up all night and sleeping during the day. I'm packing. So, not that that really makes any sense why my schedule would be flipped around, so I guess there's no explanation for it. I don't know. I'm turning into pure vampire. It's happening. Anyway, you see these women on YouTube, especially like in the drama, the true crime communities, Boit. I don't know so much about the makeup community. I'm not super familiar. Happens in the paranormal too. It happens a lot more with women than men, I've noticed. And it's these women who like, they sort of turn, they adopt this persona of being this tough badass. And, you know, they are really flippant and rude and sometimes yelling and a lot of profanity. And, you know, they speak to people in this very aggressive, provocative way. And it seems to big them up in their own minds. To me, I see it as just being sort of, I don't know, it's a turnoff for me, and I kind of see it as being kind of immature and definitely like they don't know how to control themselves well unless they're putting it on as an act. I mean, if they're really angry, then they just have no control over their emotions, which makes me not respect them. If they're putting it on as an act, usually then I just feel like it's kind of foolish. But it goes along with this whole theme of like, it seems like it's become cool to be cruel, okay? And if you're a suburban fucking housewife sitting, you know, at your kitchen table, streaming on YouTube, screaming at people and talking like white trash, you're not cool and you're not a badass. You're just what you are, a suburban housewife sitting at your table, being aggressive, using a lot of profanity, speaking in a loud tone of voice, telling people off. Like, you know, if you go back quite a few years, like that just was considered uncouth and rude. You know, like I don't have a ton of respect for these people. I don't know. It's not my style. And I know real badasses in real life. And let me tell you, they would laugh at you. Okay? I think I've seen one real badass who probably really is a badass in real life on YouTube in the Boit community, and it's that Loco. I think he's a true badass. And you know what he does? Like when it comes to people like you, he laughs at you. Because he knows, like, you're not a badass. You're a bored fucking suburban housewife on YouTube. Like, come on, people. I don't know why anyone fears these type of people or really engages with them. They just seem so base to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe people enjoy that kind of thing. But to me, it doesn't really have anything, I don't know, to teach me. It's not entertaining to me, and it's usually shrill and annoying. There's nothing I can learn from it. I'm not going to be entertained by it. It doesn't impress me. It doesn't really interest me in any way. And I really do struggle to understand why it interests anyone. I don't know. Maybe I'm just old, like somebody pointed out today, you know. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Doesn't really do it for me. So, yeah. But I do think these communities, Boit, drama community, true crime, although I don't watch a lot of the true crime community and I don't know a lot of the players in those communities. More, I watch drama community and Boit, and obviously in the paranormal community. But the paranormal community doesn't have as much of this stuff as the drama community, and Boit does. But the beauty community, I'm a little familiar with, but it doesn't seem to have the same stuff that the drama community and Boit does. Like, for instance, the swatting and the CPS calling and going into real life and that sort of shit. You know, I don't know. I don't think the beauty community has as much of that. But I do think these communities need to start revamping themselves and figure out, like, what is going to be tolerated and what isn't. And if it isn't going to be tolerated, how do you propose to make that happen? You know, make it a reality that it isn't tolerated. But it just seems like, you know, it is getting into dangerous territory, like with the swatting and shit. Like, people do get killed that way. Like, maybe it doesn't happen every day, but it's happened. We all know it's happened. People have died from swatting. And then you have the mocking of, you know, mentally ill people. Like, you know, how far does the roasting go? If you know someone is struggling with a mental health issue, should you be roasting them? Are you unable to tell when perhaps they're at a low space? And maybe that's not a good time to kind of be poking the bear? I don't know. Hey, Crystal, how are you? Thanks for coming into the stream. Hi, Lady Norn. Thanks for coming in. Lady Norn, I didn't even realize that was you saying that. I'm caught up in my thoughts. But seriously, like, and the thing is that it seems like whenever anybody gets called out on YouTube for some kind of shitty behavior, they never really seem to feel bad. You know, they might say, I'm sorry, or I shouldn't have done that, or I was worse then, but I'm better now. But they never really seem very heartfelt in taking responsibility for their behavior, acknowledging their behavior, and being regretful or remorseful about it. They just seem kind of smug to me, you know, like very defensive, very entitled, very fixed in their position that they're innocent and defending their innocence, and then just kind of smug fuck you about it, you know? You don't really see a lot of real heartfelt shit on YouTube. I don't think. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know if that's just because they just want to portray that they're doing fine and, you know, this isn't affecting them. And, you know, they're trying to portray this image of strength, like, you can't touch me. But somebody made a video recently. Probably not a lot of you guys would know who this person is. He's part of the Boit community. He goes by Brad Silverdog 2. And this would be for the men out there. But he made a video where he was talking about what an alpha man is and what an alpha man isn't. And I see a lot of people on YouTube and in the world in general that think they're alpha males who don't know the first fucking thing about what it is to be an alpha male. And I'm gonna have to find that video. I watched it, I don't know, yesterday or the day before or something, and put a link in the description. I won't be able to do that until it posts, which won't be until tomorrow. But if you're interested, come back and look for it, or just search up Brad Silverdog. I think it's his second channel, so search Brad Silverdog 2, and watch his video about what it means to be an alpha male, because I don't think a lot of males really get it. You know, you've got a lot of these men that run around and they're very cocky, and they're very like, gruff and tough acting, and and then they refer to themselves as alpha males, but they are actually really insecure, and that's all a false sense of bravado. It's just an act because they're so fucking insecure. Because true alpha men don't have to prove it to anybody. They're secure and confident in their masculinity. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, interesting stuff to think about. And then these women who are almost like trying to behave like men. They're just so, aggressive. And why have these women lost touch with their own femininity? It reminds me of like how I was when I was in high school, like that whole tough act, But as I grew into an adult, I tried to become in touch with my femininity, because that kind of aggressive, tough act is more like a shield. It's a defense armor, So what are you protecting? Are you that, really that weak and that soft and not tough? Because that's what I think. Just saying. I don't know. You'll hear people say that anyone who is in a position above you, they're going to reach down a hand and help you up, And if you're not in a position to reach down and help someone up, and that can be in a multitude of different ways, then what are you doing in the public eye? That's my question. I don't know. I mean, and look, it's okay to get critical, It's okay to criticize someone. We can't all be so thin-skinned that we can't take any criticism. And especially on these kinds of platforms, people do have to be able to take criticism. And we have to have the freedom of speech to offer criticism. And certainly everyone is free to speak their mind. But again, I have to just wonder, like, how far do you go with it? Do you know when to stop? Do you know when maybe you've gone too far? I think these are questions we need to start asking. Like, YouTube does not monitor this shit. They don't police their own community. I mean, yeah, there's the terms of service and whatnot, and yeah, you can strike channels and all that shit. But by the time all that happens, the damage may have already been done. Hey, Dreama, how are you, honey? You can't unwind time. And by the time YouTube takes care of it, it might already be done. So it's like, once again, I will say, like, I feel like when you want to change certain things within a community, the whole community itself has to reject a certain behavior for it to go away. And it has to kind of be fairly unanimous, But I do think, I think it was good that H3 made that video, because I think it's bringing a very large problem to light. And I think it did touch a lot of people. And he spoke of another man in Massachusetts who was bullied and being called a pedophile and all this stuff when they actually had the wrong guy. And like, this really affected this guy, and it affected his life. And he saw H3's video, and he made a video response to thank him. And it was touching. I've been lurking in the shadows. Ooh, I like that. You're getting to be full vampire too. But yeah, I think these are good things to think about, and I think they're good things to talk about. And do we want, content creators committing suicide because they feel so bullied? Is that okay? Is that acceptable within the YouTube community? How do you all feel? Like, I know it's not acceptable for me. Even if I didn't like someone, even if I felt strong enough to hate them, which is pretty rare although there's a few people on here, you know, certainly I'm not impressed by. Do I want them to kill themselves? No. Come on. You know, I'm not that emotionally invested. And like I say, even if I think that everyone has a purpose on the planet. I really do. Like, I just can't, there's not many people I would wish death on. And the fact of the matter is you don't have to wish a death on anybody because everybody fucking dies. You just don't know when it's going to happen. So, yeah, some interesting stuff. What else I was going to tell you about? There was something else I was going to tell you about. Oh, it's going to take me a minute now. Had a high-speed chase here last night on my street. Like, I was standing here on the phone gabbing with one of my girlfriends, and I see a cop car driving very fast down the street, but it turns out he was actually chasing somebody, and there was 3 cop cars chasing somebody, and this seems to happen a lot. I mean, and we're talking like high-speed chase, like they were fucking flying. And the end of my road is like a little cul-de-sac. It's a dead end. So I'm like, why do they always come down here when it's a fucking dead end? Where do they think they're going? You know, like, if you're being chased by the cops, it probably doesn't seem like the smartest idea to go down a dead end. Well, it turns out they actually must have cut through like a yard and over to like another side street because they never came back. It was crazy. Yeah, so that was kind of a little bit of excitement last night here. Kind of a crazy neighborhood. But, you know, I'll be going into the city. It'll probably be even a little crazier. But I am excited anyway. I'm really excited to go into the city. The moving, the packing rather, is going. It's going. It's going. It's going. It's going. It feels like it will never end. Because I'm sort of like sorting and purging and organizing and trying to pack not willy-nilly, you know, and it just feels like it'll never end. I'm exhausted with it, and I'm not getting a ton of sleep because I'm just trying to go like the Energizer Bunny, and I'm fucking bored of it and sick of it, and I'm bored in general. Like, I just had to pop on tonight and just take a fucking break because I'm so sick of it. It's just so monotonous. I hate that tedious shit. So what else? I did, truthfully, Trisha streamed this morning. I don't know if you guys know, she made me a mod the last time I was in her stream, and I popped in there this morning, and she was streaming. I have to say, like, I do like her. Like, I think she's talented, and I think she's funny. I think she's really funny. She was doing something this morning that was just cracking me up. I thought it was really funny. Even if it's like a fucking set up thing, I don't care. I still think it's funny. I love humor, and if you're funny, I like that. And she was being really funny this morning. I was like half asleep. I haven't gotten a lot of sleep. But she's a character, and I think she's cute and funny. And I'll say another thing about her that's positive, which is, you know, and I said this, I put this out on social media this morning, that talking about how her and I are going to do a collab together once I settle down and get moved and all that's behind me. I'm going to work something out with her, do some kind of collab with her. And I think that unless you're a content creator on YouTube, and unless you've been doing it for a while, you don't realize how ugly it can get behind the scenes from people that don't like you, or your haters, so to speak. You know, it can get very, I call it the lion's den, and it is. It can get very ugly behind the scenes. And I've gotten death threats before. I have had people come into my real life and affect my real life negative ways, in many different ways. I've had people do extensive fucking stalking on me and then find things and spill it out, you know, leak it out onto YouTube or onto the, you know, behind the scenes, you know, gossip and whatnot. And it's just, it is a little scary, you know. you don't know who all these people on the internet, whether they're balanced, not balanced, what their deal is. Like, there's a lot of fucking psychos out there, and half of them are on the internet, you know? So you are sort of putting yourself out there when you become a YouTube content creator or streamer. And you do end up dealing with shit, and a lot of negative shit, and a lot of hate. And, you know, it's a lot of commitment and a lot of work to have a YouTube channel and to, you know, post content regularly or to stream regularly. It does take work and effort and energy and focus, you know, and that person is putting something into it. And I don't think everyone realizes how much work it can be, like emotionally and psychologically. It can be. I remember when I first started like dealing with hate on YouTube, and the first time like people made negative videos about me and shit like that fucking got me, man. Like, it freaked me out, you know. I really felt bad about it. You know, now I've been doing it for so many years, like I've dealt with so much hate. It doesn't faze me anymore. Like, it really doesn't. My skin's, you know, really thickened up to the point where it doesn't faze me. But I'll never forget that first fucking hate video I saw. Like, it really, like, it just amps up your anxiety, and you feel like panicky and nervous, and, you know, it's upsetting and stressful. And I think about like other people who go through it for the first time, and, you know, what they must feel like. And I know some people get really affected. So, yeah. So anyway, my point was, when it comes to Truthfully Trisha, I think she keeps a really fucking positive attitude in light of all the hate that she gets. You know, she seems to really, for the most part, stay pretty optimistic and upbeat and cheerful. And you know, she didn't know me from Adam. You know, she had no idea who I was. She's been very friendly and very generous to me. And I don't know, to me that speaks of a good character. So, you know, I think also it's like, if you put yourself out there as a content creator, people have really fucking high expectations of you as well. They expect you to be perfect and never make mistakes, you know? Like you're a little fucking YouTube god or something, and God forbid you do anything wrong. I don't know. And maybe that seems a little contradictory to what I was just saying about Keemstar and everything. Look, everybody fucks up and everybody makes mistakes. But again, some of these content creators, I don't really think they're making mistakes. I think it's part of their whole shtick, you know, about who they are and the persona that they're presenting and everything. You know, you've got the Howard Stern shock jock types, you know, and that's their thing. That's what they do. They provoke. Look at American Drunko. That's his thing. That's what he does. He just goes around picking on people and provoking people. He's one of the biggest problem children, I think, out there. Like, you know, look at that guy. He's constantly fucking picking on. Does that guy seem super stable to you? Doesn't to me. You know, does Drunko care if he fucking gets that guy to off himself? I doubt it. He doesn't seem like he would. And that, you know, you never know, people. You don't know these people. You don't know how stable they are. You don't know what their real life is like. What if they're struggling with financial problems, drug addiction perhaps? They might, you know, get to the point where it all gets to be too much. You don't know. And your bullying might not be fucking helping. And like that Drunko, he is obsessed, dude. He gets obsessed with people, like really bad. So he just carries it on and on and on forever. He's been bullying that dude for years. He bullied me for years. You know, so like, why do we like these people? Why is that something interesting to watch and to support? You know? Are you so impotent in your own life that you have to get on YouTube and be a big bully to feel a sense of power and control over something? You know, I just think it's kind of pathetic. yeah, that's my 2 cents on all that. So yeah, but back to TT, I do think, I think she's done a good job at keeping like her spirits up and holding her chin up and holding her head up high when she's got a lot of fucking people bashing her. I can't be easy to deal with on the regular. So I'm pretty proud of her, for just keeping at it and doing what she wants to do despite having a lot of people attacking her. So yeah, it's very much mob mentality, and that kind of energy can spread. It really can, and it can be dangerous. So I think people really, and I was actually having a conversation with somebody tonight. This is a person I might interview on my channel. And I think it would be interesting. It's actually somebody who's involved in the polyamory community and the kink community. And I asked him if he'd be interested in letting me interview him, and we're going to talk about it further. But I thought it would be interesting for you guys to hear some of this stuff. And I know it's not paranormal related, but whatever. Sometimes I veer off a bit. But I think it would be interesting, and I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you why I'm also interested in it. Years back, I used to blog before YouTube was really a big thing, and everybody was blogging. I used to blog about a show called Polyamory, Married and Dating. Now, I'm not poly. I wasn't poly at the time. But I'm fascinated by human relationships in general. And I started watching the show and was really interested in it, and I started blogging about it. I was interested in the interpersonal dynamics and how people could be poly and then not deal with feelings of jealousy and possessiveness and that sort of thing. So I watched the show. I thought it was fascinating. And you don't see a lot of shows like that out there that deal with these sort of alternative communities. So I did blog about the show. I even interviewed the producer of the show. It was a show on Showtime After Dark. And I think they only did like 1 or 2 seasons. 2 seasons, I think. And then we were all like cheering for them to do a third, but they didn't. But it was fascinating to me to see how these people managed these relationships and the issues that occur. And jealousy does come up, and they do have to deal with it. But they are very communicative, and they work through these issues. But I think it's fascinating stuff. And in today's climate, where I feel like we're being so divided when it comes to politics, religion, sexuality, all these issues, I feel like everyone is getting so divided. And I think it's better, rather than feel so alienated from people, like you're so different from them, which just does create a divide. I think it's good to find the commonalities. And I do think the commonalities exist amongst us all, and that we're all connected, and that we're all more similar than we are different. And the only way that you can end up feeling that way is by really having a little peek in. So, a lot of people watch the movie 50 Shades of Grey, and they think that sort of accurately represents the kink community. No. In fact, most of the kink community is pretty upset about that movie. So, I think it would be an interesting interview for you all to see. So that will be coming in the future. I also briefly I've been communicating with another person in the paranormal about doing a collaboration paranormal investigation here in New Orleans. I'm going to talk with him further before I say who it is and see if we can really make this happen. But I'm excited about it, and hoping we can work that out, because I think that'll be really fun. And there's a couple of locations I really want to check out. and investigate. But I don't want to do it alone. I think it would be more fun to do it with somebody else in the paranormal. So we're talking about doing a little collaboration, and I think that will be very fun for you guys because we can live stream it and you can participate a little bit and it'll be fun. So that's the other thing I was going to tell you about tonight. Let me see what else. I think there was one other thing I was going to bitch about. Anytime I'm bitching, it always makes me think of Scary Larry Moses and miss him. I was just looking at like some of my old Twitter messages with him the other day, but I actually used to communicate with him more, not from my paranormal Twitter, but I had another Twitter, which was like my original Twitter, where I had like 10,000 followers. And then when I moved here to Louisiana, I was using my paranormal one more, and I lost the password or I forgot the password to my other Twitter account, and I never was able to get back in. And like, it was one of those things where the email I had for it was from 2012, so I couldn't remember that password either, so I couldn't get into my recovery email or my Twitter account. And I even like I tried to contact like Twitter support about it and everything, but I still haven't been able to get back into that account. But that's where Larry and I used to communicate the most. And that's one of the biggest reasons I want to get back into that Twitter account, because I want to read our old messages and stuff. Because I do still miss Larry a lot. He was awesome. If you don't know who I'm talking about, just do a search on YouTube for Scary Larry Moses, and he was a paranormal person who looked like Santa Claus and was a great guy. And I'm really good friends now with his daughter since he passed away. But yeah, back to the whole suicide thing, and Larry committed suicide, So it's like, suicide is such a horrible thing. It affects families so strongly. It affects so many people, and it's so tragic. And, a lot of times people are riddled with guilt and stuff when someone commits suicide, and you always feel like if someone commits suicide, you always wish there was something you could have done, and you always question yourself too. Well, it's very common for people to question themselves, like, did I do something wrong? Could I have done something? Did I miss some signs? Like, blah, blah, blah. That's very common to have guilt and to sort of go over it and over it. Like, what could I have done differently to prevent this from happening? But the thing is that a person who is really at that point of low despair where they're thinking about committing suicide, they're probably going to make sure nobody knows, that they're planning on doing that. So there isn't probably a lot you can do, because if they're serious, they're going to want to get away with it. So they're going to be mum, they're not going to give you any signs, you know what I'm saying? So there's probably not a lot you can do. But it is really tragic. It's just sad stuff. There's a lot of sad stuff in this world. It just is. But there's a lot of happy stuff too, and a lot of joyful stuff. So you got to try to focus on the positive as much as you can, I think. I'm also going to do a quick session tonight. It's been a while since I've done a session, and spirits are acting up here, and I thought it was a good night to do a little session. So I'm going to smoke this cigarette, and then I'm going to do a session. But yeah, there was one other thing I was going to bitch and moan about. What was it? Oh, God, it's driving me crazy. It'll probably come to me in a minute. I did some packing today, but not a ton. I went to the store, picked up a few things that I needed. Kind of shitty weather here today, very gray. Didn't storm, but it was kind of just a crappy day. Very dark, kind of gray day. I know it's Memorial Day weekend, but are there a lot of people watching? I can't see here how many. Oh, yeah, I can, actually. It's my fans, my haters. Some people do like to lurk and just not comment too, and it's okay. You don't have to chat. I can chat nonstop. Oh, what was I gonna say? Totally losing my train of thought now. I'm getting distracted by the barking. There's a dog barking incessantly. Oh, I know. Well, I was going to mention this too. I know that some, and I don't remember which one, but somebody in the beauty community did put out, um, I don't remember which one it was, put out a video sort of criticizing Jeffree Star's new palette, Cremated. I didn't get a chance to watch that video yet, so I can't really comment on it, but I know there's been a lot of controversy, and I know Jeffree Star put out a video himself sort of addressing some of the controversy, and I haven't had a chance to watch that either. So maybe I'll comment on those things after I see them. I know it just seems like there's a lot of drama in general going on. Mrs. Fucking Wonderful got swatted, had somebody, a cop come to her house who, you know, then was hitting on her. You know, some women get all the luck. I want that palette so bad. In fact, I was saying to, truthfully, Trisha, that maybe, you know, she mentioned maybe wanting to do like a makeup type video, which, you know, I'm lucky if I can put makeup on my face and not come out looking like I'm going to the circus. So I don't know that that's my forte, but hey, I'm always game to try new things. And I was thinking that palette might be a fun thing to play with. And she was saying she only has like one Jeffree Star product, which is funny because I only have one Jeffree Star product that I've ever bought, which is like a, you know, like a setting spray for your face. It's in like a pink can, and I love it. It's heavenly. The smell is like, I don't know, raspberry or something, but it just smells so good. It's just, I love it. So that's the only Jeffree Star product I've ever purchased. I've never gotten one of his palettes or anything. Hey Kira, how are you? But yeah, oh, here's something fun and interesting. My daughter, my second daughter, Emily, is, she's entering this contest to be the Maxim cover girl. I think, is it Maxim, is that right? It's a magazine. I'm not familiar with it, but yeah, she's entering this contest. So I did share something out this morning, and what is going to need to happen is people are going to need to go and vote for her, and she is beautiful. I've been telling her for years she should get into modeling. She's stick thin, and she's gorgeous, and she's got the right kind of look for modeling. And yeah, I know it's a men's magazine, and I said to her, I was like, is that like a nudie magazine? I don't know if it is. It might be. Not that I care if it is, and you know, it would be a good stepping stone for her to get to a good career in modeling if she were to win that. So when it comes to pass, which I think is going to be on the 25th, that's when the voting starts. I'm going to be like asking everybody, please go vote for her, because it would be a really great opportunity for her. And she is gorgeous. She's a beautiful girl. So yeah, hopefully you can all help me out with that. She is taken, unfortunately. She has a boyfriend she lives with, so sorry, younger men. She's spoken for the time being, at least. She's been with that guy for years, too. They live in Florida. And I haven't visited their new place. They just moved there. Actually, both my older daughters are living together, which is nice. That warms the cockles of my heart to know that they're living together. But they moved there in January, and I'm dying to go visit and check out where they are, because I haven't been to that part of Florida. I used to go to Fort Lauderdale for work, but they're on the West Coast, and I haven't been there. So New Orleans is starting to slowly open back up. I heard that tomorrow Cafe Du Monde is going to open back up, which is a big New Orleans thing. You know, people go there to get beignets and whatnot, coffee. So, yeah, it's slowly starting to happen. The city's opening back up, so that's exciting, and I'm pretty excited to get down there and participate in the city and walk around and look for work and take my pictures and go to restaurants and bars and do all the fun things that the city has to offer. Ghost hunt, visit some more cemeteries, check out some museums, all the good stuff that goes on in New Orleans. So I just love the city. Every time I'm there, I'm happy. I feel like I'm home. It's just my place. So I am excited to move there. I got a pack of the Starburst all pink today to have a little sweet. Moonchild pink. Hey, Ghost Queen. New sub. Came across my recommendations. Awesome. Well, thanks. Welcome to the stream. I'm just kind of chit-chatting tonight. I am going to do a spirit box session in a minute, but I'm just kind of shooting the shit. Chit-chatting about bullying on YouTube, swatting, suicides, aggressive women who get on YouTube and act like they're badasses from their suburban homes. It just doesn't impress me. I don't know. What are you going to do? So, as I say, I haven't done a session in a while. But because I'm moving, the spirits have been really acting up around the house lately. Moving stuff, dimming lights, all sorts of crazy stuff. I've seen a lot of orb activity. I even saw a shadow, black shadow in my bedroom the other night. So I'm going to do a session, see who wants to chitty chat. Yeah, so here we go. Hi, spirits, it's Ghost Queen.
World.
Devil.
Diana.
Devil again. Was that Tiana or Inanna? Wait here.
Found. Listen.
I'm listening.
Nude.
Nude? No, I'm not nude. Hi, Rico. Suave. LGBTQ. Thanks for coming to the stream.
Jump. Adele.
Are the spirits in the house upset that I'm moving?
Royalty.
Did they say royalty?
Dead.
I know you're dead.
The more you percent up. Eating it. What was happening? It didn't.
And your wall.
On my wall?
Art Tuesday. Chrissy.
.org.
What?
Today.
Can you?
voice there.
And where
Hi, little kid.
running?
Can everyone else step back and let the child come forward?
For being Mr. For more.
I want to speak to the child.
EA. I'm startled.
I've noticed every single time I do a session for a while now, that same child comes through. I get like maybe 2 words from them, 2 little phrases come through, and then they're gone. And that's it. It's like a hit and run little kid. It's so crazy. Every session it's the same. And then I can't hear them again. Who is that little child that keeps coming through?
I can't.
Shows away
I almost thought I heard them say Jake.
and
Rico Suave, I wear headphones if I'm reviewing a session to try to hear everything that was said, and usually you can catch way more communication when you're reviewing a session than you can live like this. Yeah, I would wear my noise canceling headphones to review a session, but I don't when I'm doing a session.
People.
I heard them say Heather just then.
And see. I need. And what? For the better. Change it. Tutu.
They just said Bluetooth.
Hey.
and retail.
There was the child again. Hi, sweetie. Angel? Did they say Angel? What's your name, little child?
Turpid.
Yes. So excited.
I thought I heard
Working like-
Paul.
Do this.
Bigfoot. Or Jeff.
They just said Bigfoot.
Already, I don't really.
Only 5,000 bucks.
Both.
For the offer. We'll have a look.
Can the little child come through again?
Oh, they don't say. Free. Apple.
They said apple twice,
Two people. Fun. Kibble.
which is kind of funny because I was eating an apple earlier and I I said on social media that I had bought the apple at Walmart and it tasted like plastic, and I couldn't figure out how that could possibly happen. Thought I heard the kid again just there.
Say it.
Sam?
What's as we can.
Devil.
For us, it
Radio need. And if you need
created a
I keep hearing the kid.
take care of yourself.
at Premiere,
I do try to take care of myself. Did you hear him say "we know" right after I said that? That was a weird noise.
See, slikes. You to help your friend. A little.
Did they say you need to help the infant? Did anyone else hear that?
Be like fight. And
They said something about a nightmare and being afraid.
Mom, Code Joe. Dangerous.
What's dangerous? They said dangerous. What's happening in your head?
You're hot.
You're hot.
Other love. I did
Other love?
You know.
Not me.
Teams up. Your knee. And and
Said angel. I heard angel. I find it. You mean, does it drain your energy? Is that what you mean? I mean, it does take a lot of focus, intense focus. When I first tried it, I had anticipated it would be energizing. Oh no, it definitely will
what those
drain you, not energize you.
Alan.
Devil again.
Who's
I
that? Up.
Oh, you've heard me.
I'm trying to hear you.
Everything. You might be many.
Tortured. Little light. Ray.
You hear him say pray?
Bye. Put it.
Shut this down.
Something about shut this down. Why do you keep talking about the devil?
What's the government going to say?
Did you hear that? Get out!
We're sharing. So you
Daily lives.
Will. You're sick. Come. Or China. him.
they say bitch?
Help. Things you don't. Same.
Are you in pain?
What?
Number one,
Look.
I heard Angel
Somebody.
again.
Eddie. Wait a minute. Sick?
it goes to 9/11.
Bobby, what? That's a throw help.
Something about Bobby going to hell, I think.
Her family.
Or your family.
People.
Beneficiary of that.
A few more pick. Ideas to.
You, Spirits, do you have any messages for anyone in the chat?
Family.
And
If I what do you?
Guys. For
that's why
A.
It's not the end of the. Weird.
Tack.
pointing out that she's not.
Not. When you're home.
Okay, Rico Suave, thanks for popping in.
I.
Yes, sir.
Something else.
Mix.
Tack.
Attack the devil.
Here.
Whitman.
Then they said was attacked.
I'm in top plane.
Danny. Here's your. Be home.
Easy. Which is roll.
Yep.
Apple. We.
Yeah. Center.
Mama.
Zero. People take.
Oh, for someone.
Here. Well.
Whatever. These are.
Medical.
I always do a really slow sleep, and I know it bugs people sometimes.
They have a back.
And his ankle.
Hi, Bruce Fry.
That's who does it.
It's for hard leg. In the back.
Sick.
How you?
Now. Conscience.
Hey, it goes.
Still. Defer. Debit.
Is the little child still here?
Or above all,
Grab your. There you go.
yeah, so
Weights. They. This
I was there.
all order. Small. Chat. To the Dallas. I'd help.
When you talk about the devil, what entity are you talking about specifically?
Oh, let me hit you.
We're in.
Can't wait.
I almost thought I heard a Nana, but I wasn't sure.
Five.
CEO free.
But
Do you mean 5 different entities?
Five for.
We're talking about
What? and village.
Be softened.
New Orleans.
URC.
Honey bars. Intricate. No. Brings it.
They're in support.
Credit. Inside fit.
Support.
Bad.
Just prevent other.
I was lost.
That's 8 minutes.
Best.
A
Carry.
male said, I was lost.
Best.
What's up?
Eric.
Only defend.
New.
Instant. Decent. Period.
Is it North?
Program. Program.
Lebanon.
Enough school. Send.
200.
All right, spirits, I'm going to end the session. Did you hear it? A British voice went, oi.
And. Stand.
Is there anything you want to say before I end the session? Hi. Hello.
What's happening?
What's happening? I was just giving you guys a chance to chat because I haven't ran the box in a while. I thought I heard "What's up, Ghost Queen." Save us. You don't need me to save you. You can save yourself.
Come over.
No, I can't come over. They said, what a beautiful world it would be. That was a big, long sentence. Hey, Nana. Angel. Did a child say goodbye to me before I go? Devil again. All right. Goodbye for now.
Yeah.
I'll do another session before I leave the house.
Work. Smack.
Bye, spirits. Good night. Not a bad session. Quite a few things coming through. I just can't get over that kid coming through like at the start of every session I do lately. Pretty wild stuff. Yeah. All right. That's about it. That's all I got for tonight. So thanks for coming in, guys. Hope everybody, well, I don't even know what fucking day it is. At least I'm not the only one. I see everybody saying that on Facebook. Ooh, what day is it? There goes my crown. My tiara. No crown tonight. It was a tiara. It's Wednesday. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Wednesday evening. It's 1 o'clock in the morning here, just about. And I'm going to be up all night packing. Per usual. All I've been doing lately. So hope you all have a great evening. And thanks for popping in, Bruce. Always love to see new people in the street. And that's it. Sleep well. I will be sleeping in the morning, and probably will be popping on one more time before my move. And then the next time you see me, I'll be in downtown New Orleans. So that's it, guys. Have a great night, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.